Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
2 weeks, 2 weekends, right? You got this weekend, next, and then it starts.
Right.
You had better be getting ready. I mean, literally everybody, myself included. I'm probably the worst at it, at being late to the game on getting everything prepared and ready to go. Thank God I put it all away, ready to go the year before. Tony Gilbertson, world champion elk caller, Oregon man right here in our studio, sharing some insight. I know, one, being a world champion elk caller, you think about this stuff every day, year round, for the last 25, 30 years, maybe even longer. That's just the way these guys are built. Game time's coming, man. How's that feel?
It's exciting.
I'm sure it is.
I think about this all the time.
I'm sure you do.
Every night.
Yeah.
I dream about it.
Yeah. This year, a little bit different. We were talking about it with our meteorologist just a little bit ago, Katie Suniga. Cooler summer than what we've typically had. Yeah. We haven't broken 100 degrees, which is an interesting topic all by itself. But what are your thoughts going into this season about conditions and you know, kind of what you might walk into? I know that you're already spending time in the woods, but how are things looking out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's dry, but it's not as dry as it has been in years past. And that's something.
A good start.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I mean, especially hunting on the coast, there's plenty of water everywhere.
Sure.
But, you know, you get on the east side, if it gets real hot, sometimes you don't end up with much water and it's harder to find those elk. So,
yeah.
But on the coast, you don't have that problem. But yeah, it's not as dry, and that excites me. You know, you can be a little bit quieter in the woods.
Sure.
Elk are pretty well dispersed, at least in the unit I'm hunting, and so you just got to find them.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, middle of August. They're all kind of bathroed up, you would assume.
Yeah.
When do you kind of see that change when September rolls around, or that last week of August, when you start maybe expecting to start seeing more bachelors out there running around on their own?
Yeah, well, they'll be, those bachelor herds will start splitting up here within the next couple of weeks. And they'll be out raking trees and getting the velvet off their horns, strengthening up their necks for the fight that's about to happen, and gathering up cows. And so it won't be long, and it'll be game on.
It's kind of amazing, because if you get out there, and I know that you do, you're able to see some bulls that are out there. They're just kind of narrow, you know, they're skinnied up, and then they transform in a matter of weeks to just thick, ready to fight beasts. If you've never seen it, it's hard to explain. But once you do see it, like for Tony and for a lot of us, it's just ingrained in your head. It's like that image burns in, no matter what it is, what they look like. If they're a 5x5, a raghorn, or a monster, it's just amazing what they do. So what are you doing this time of year, again, being the middle of August, to get ready, you know, a couple weeks away?
I've been shooting my bow almost every day, and I've been doing that for quite some time. So, I mean, you have to, when you get in that situation where you've got a bull in front of you, you need to be prepared. And the slightest change in your form and your technique, when you're at full draw, the way you torque that bow, it needs to be second nature. You're going to pull up on that bull, get the full draw, don't even think about it, and ready to go. So shooting your bow is extremely important. I'm pretty much done shooting field points now. I'm shooting my broadheads because they'll fly different. They'll plane, you know, based on the type of broadhead you're using. If you're using a wide fixed blade, sometimes they plane really bad, and you need to adjust your bow to get that dialed in. So you're not shooting field points, you're shooting broadheads. That's what's going to take your bull for you.
Sure.
Physical conditioning. I'll be 57 in like a little over a month, and I've got my pack on. I've got a 50-pound sandbag on it. I'm hiking around town, up and down hills. You know, good friend of mine used to tell me all the time, separation is in the preparation. You need to be prepared. This is one of the most physical things I do anytime throughout the year.
Sure.
Hunting elk in the mountains will break you down if you're not prepared.
Yeah, and I think all of us are guilty of not getting prepared the right way. Not like you hit the hills on the first day in the mountains and you're running up and down, everything's good. You know, for me, again, being old, not as old as you yet, but I guarantee he's covering more ground than I am. It takes about 3 days. You know, if you haven't done it the right way, you're going to know it, and you're going to wish that you had taken care of that. That goes all the way down to your gear too. I mean, the boots that you're wearing, the pack that you're carrying, you know, you got to have all that stuff. You don't want to get out there all sitka up and stuff that just showed up at your front door and it's all brand new and shiny and not fitting you right.
All right. I mean, when you're out shooting your bow, a lot of guys will take their packs off when they get to that point where they're shooting at an animal. But there's going to be times where you can't do that.
Right.
The bull is there. You can't take your pack off. They're going to see you. So get out there and shoot with your pack on. When you're hiking around, get your boots on, use the socks you're going to use. Blisters are brutal.
Correct.
You hike around on the mountains. Yeah, absolutely. If you get blisters on your feet, if you've got bad socks, you're using old cotton socks, and you've got bad boots, or you go out and buy a brand new pair of boots, and then you hit the woods a week later, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
I'm one of the, if not the guy that kills the most elk that I know personally, he is all about the boots, because you got to cover ground. I mean, there's obviously folks that spend time these days in tree stands, and there's a lot of success to be had there. Not something that I know that you were willing to do, and I simply can't do it either. So it's certainly miles on the boots, get away from the crowd, and cover some ground. But of course, you know, talking about all that stuff, from start to finish, from feet to head, wear a good hat. Hopefully one that says Outdoor GPS on it, or maybe one that says Phelps on it.
There you go.
We'll talk about that in a second. You also got to talk to them. Not everybody does, though. No. I would say the vast majority of people, and you know this better than I do, are not elk callers. They might try, but they can make mistakes, and I know that myself personally, and even the guys that I hunt with that are pretty good at it. You can say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and all of a sudden you ruined it, not because the elk smelled you, which is the #1 reason why you fail, but it's something you did wrong with a call. For folks that might be new at it, or even those that think they know everything, what would be a bit of advice that you can give?
Just like when you're shooting your bow or you're getting prepared hiking around town physically, you need to practice your calling too. Now, you don't have to be a world champ caller. I want to make that clear. But you do need to sound like an elk. And you need to have some versatility. I hear guys that have a certain type of elk call that they use that doesn't take a whole lot of skill or practice. It sounds the same every time.
You know what you're talking about?
Yes.
You can use one in between stuff.
You can.
But it does, I understand.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about before the show. You know, a mechanic has a tool for every job, right?
Yeah.
Fishermen have different lures. It's important to have different calls, whether it's an external reed call, various different types of diaphragm calls. The more versatile you can be, the more successful you're going to be.
Makes sense. And I would have to assume along the lines of, I'm saying this knowing the answer, so I'll be honest. Similar to what I like to do, which is to call ducks, you also have to know what to say and when to say it, as opposed to just blabbing around, walking around, yapping like you're an elk out there, just calling all over the place. What is it that is there a trigger for someone that's an expert like yourself to decide what kind of call you're gonna do? Either be, you know, try to get their attention, is it a cow call, is it a bugle? What's that first thing that happens that makes you decide what call you're gonna do? So
I mainly let the bull that I've located, I let him dictate what my next step is. So I usually, if I'm out locating bulls, I'll start with a cow call. Calf-cow communication it's non-threatening to a bull. If they respond to that, I'm not bugling. I'm going to stick with whatever works.
Right.
Okay. And then I wait. I give it some time. You know, 3 to 5 minutes. Sit there and listen. Sometimes those bulls will just let out just a kind of a little lazy bugle, or maybe they'll chuckle. Most of the time when you hear a bugle, you're going to hear that high-pitched, ringing, locate bugle sound.
Sure.
But if they chuckle, or they've got kind of a real low-tone, moany bugle, especially out in the coast range in that brush, you might not hear it. So you got to listen. So 3 to 5 minutes. Listen. If I don't hear anything, then I'll send out a locate bugle. And if that bull responds to that, then that dictates my next step. I'm going to move in on him. I'm going to use that same call. If that doesn't work, then I'll change it. But you got to pay attention to what the bull's saying to you.
Which is, I mean, you're talking years and years and years and years and years of experience to understand what they're saying to you. I mean, is there an easy way to understand what it is that they're saying to you?
Spend time in the woods.
Okay, I mean, spend
time in the woods.
That's why it's the most frustrating, rewarding, funnest, craziest, most stressful experience that you can possibly have. Now, we all know I've never killed an elk. My only opportunity was to send one over the back of one the year before last. I dream about it every night. It's the worst thing ever, but that's what gets you going back, because you know it's just one of those experiences that you can't have unless you're in the woods. But we can all screw it up. Now, well, we got to cut to a break, so hold on to that thought. I want to come back and I want to talk more about how some of these things can help you be better at it, right? And get some advice on how Tony can help you be better at it in the long run, because you got a lot of stuff going on. We'll be back with that in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective. And by North American Metals Incorporated, first choice for all your metal roofing and siding needs.